Hello, everyone. Today we don't have so much time. It's already after midnight, so we're gonna have to try to be efficient today. We have the problem from yesterday is that when we're rendering our alphabet, we're rendering these textures in here, I believe. Where is this? What is it called? Make glyph bitmap. Yep. Sorry. Make glyph bitmap. That's the one that we're using to render, and this goes into a bitmap. Where is it? Well, it just takes the draw point. The draw point is based on the bitmap. So this is where we're drawing to. And this is allocated in here. And when we go out, so here, font render in main, not in main. In font init, it goes in there, bitmaps, and this one is in main. And this is our bitmaps. Wow, I've been fine the entire day, and then as soon as I start streaming, I'm coughing and you know, sneezing. Where was I? Yeah, these are the bitmaps, and that's completely fine because we're just kind of rendering them. But then later, in here, we're creating them, and this goes into this FX texture sort of reference. But we changed texture create yesterday so that instead it's supposed to be more generic, and so that we can call it from the game. We don't necessarily have to call it from the game, but I still need it to be tracked by the game. So it needs to go into the game's, sort of array. But that's fine because when the game does it, it just calls texture get anyway and then initialize it. So in here, we are doing texture get. ID. All right. So we need the state graphics texture count plus plus. That gives us a texture. And that goes where? Does it go there? Maybe for now it does. Mm-hmm. That kind of sort of works. Mm, I don't know how to set that up. Did I not? So we are not having any textures there. Instead, we're having textures in the game header. Here they are. Yeah. You know, I gotta check now because I'm paranoid about the chat not working. Okay. Cool. Textures, text, mesh text. Not text, texture. That would be I. Maybe we don't need that at all. I will think more later about managing each resource. But right now, I think I should just make it work. Texture count plus plus. Well, you should probably do the same thing as the normal mesh. And then the big one, the draw, because this is going to be very different right now. This mesh is the graphics mesh, but I want this to be the GFX mesh. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make a huge difference. So right now we only support diffuse textures. So we could just say, well, if any of them are set, then that's an error. But to minimize, like to keep the logic the same, This would be texture type. Bound index. Ah, I see. So this texture, the window for the YouTube live stream keeps refreshing or something, so like it just drags away my attention. Let's see. This text is having data. This data is my graphics text. It's unused, incompatible. Ah, because it's a U8. So this one is having buffer count. Huh? Oh, there we go. This bind index, this is the index of the buffer in OpenGL. The ID, I forget what it is. Ah, no. This is the index. Should I rename this to IDX maybe then? Fail to apply edits, of course. I don't know why it does that. Maybe it's because there's errors and it doesn't like changing things when there's errors around. It's a buffer index. So that's what it should be. And you also have the bind index. So I'm not sure why I'm checking the bind index here. Ah, if the bound texture at the bind index is not the same as this one, and this bound textures is just a well, it should be a texture pointer right now. -1. I forget why I'm setting all of them to -1. Maybe to bind them the first time. But if a texture is a null pointer, then it doesn't make any sense. If it's a null pointer, you shouldn't bind anything. We will see if that bites me in the ass. So if the bound texture at this bind index is not the same as this texture, if the bound texture at this index is not the same as our index, pointer and integer, this is crazy. What is crazy? Well, actually, no. No, I see, I see. So the reason why I had this as an integer. Okay, now I think I remember what I was doing. We are going back to this. This is this is an I32. And the reason for that is when we are setting this function, I can show you guys. Here. So when we're setting this, this is a GL enum. GL enums are they signed? I think they are signed. Can I please Google that? It's unsigned. Well, okay. So it's a U32, not a pointer. We have the number of the texture slots. I have defined them to be 8. I forget if I did that for a specific reason. Maybe OpenGL only supports 8. Maybe 8 is guaranteed. But really, it's this, right? And this is maybe less. This is like 5, 4 even. But we only need that many. We can even do like a small assert here. Texture slots max is smaller than 9 or smaller equal to 8. And what do we put here? Like, this is just to print a little error message if it goes above 8. If I forget. But I'm pretty sure OpenGL, I'm pretty sure the reason I put 8 there was because I was reading about it, and OpenGL guarantees 8. It could be more, but I only need 8, and it's WebGL doesn't support a ton of features. Making an engine from scratch is nuts. Thanks. I do my best. I have made, it's not my first engine, but it's the first one that I will complete a functioning game in. Now, why I made it to multi-platform, I don't know. I wanted to have it work on a browser simply because I have my website. And I want to host it here. So you can go here, you can click on this. Right now it's only linking to the source. But I want to click here, and then you have the game here and you can try it out. That was my original goal. And then the problem with doing that is that I don't know anything about debugging in the browser. So then I figured, well, I can just make it on Windows as well. and then I can like dual compile. And if the Windows version works, then the WASM version should also work because the game is so simple, right? And when I'm doing that, well, maybe I should try doing Linux for the first time. But I'm not making an engine that people will be able to download and use like Godot or Unity or anything like that. It's an engine designed for this game, but it's also designed for me to be able to make more things on top of it later, or anyone else who wants to fork it, I guess. Right. So now we are having this bound textures. It's an actual. It's the index that we are looking at. No member named. Oh, it's the graphics text index. And if that is not set, then we are just binding the new one. These are just changing their name. Oh. So now we can see if it works. I have a low. Oh, it just works. Okay, cool. So that was all I needed to do. Now, if we actually look in the game here, at some late stage here, is the game update not running? Maybe save everything. Save all. Ah. Oh. Sometimes VS Code, it takes so long to load this menu that the next input for running it goes in here, and then I do something like that. Too many arguments. Yes, because I changed this. Texture IDs. Well, we need to get the texture. ID 0. No count. And it's the address of it because it's an array of array. It's an array of pointers. But for 0, that's, well, actually I can't do that. That we can do. So now this is set on the first, in the first index, and then the rest ones are null pointers. And it's the same thing here, but we can reuse these textures. And actually, this one shouldn't have a texture at all. I'm just doing this to try it out. I'm going to make a function later for that, creating the entities. Just because that's like the entity creation process. I want to have one function. I create an entity. I set up the things that it needs, the mesh data, the texture, the position, and what else? Anchor. I'm going to get to as well. And now we have an issue. Oh. In tools JSON? Huh? Okay. $205, right? This one. Why would that suddenly break? Where am I even calling this? I think only here. Because we have to search for it. Not find, search. So we have it in main in 3 places. That's all. Now, which one is actually the offending one? What I want to find out. The first one. So probably this has something to do with this being a 0 null pointer. And why are you a null pointer? Usually when it's an error like this, typically I am writing into the memory where I shouldn't. And that's a scary, it's a scary bug. It's very annoying to debug. So this is all good. We have, why is token count 0? What I want to know. Let's take a look. Three. What was it called? Params? This tokens count is already 0. See, I didn't change any of this code. So I don't actually know how this could have happened. $91. Am I never writing it? Aha. I think I know what's going on. So we have the token max. We have the token count that is here. But then I'm using this. This is never used. So I think I changed the API and I never changed that. But for some reason, it was not crashing before. Am I building something like crossover? I don't know what crossover is. You're going to have to be more specific. I will be building an asteroids clone, but with my own twist on it. Mainly using gravity physics. Where is the token count? This is never initialized. It's a little bit confusing because this is the UTF-8 position of the cursor, basically. And this is the number of tokens that I have parsed. So I think, are you taking just a number? So I think I just do that and this issue is solved. But I had more because then I use tokens left and tokens left. And here resolve is taking array token count. Let's double check that. $20. Sure. Sounds good. Okay. This is a different error. This is completely unrelated. Invalid texture. Yes, that does make sense. Huh? Really? Wait, texture get. Who are calling you? This is happening too early. So when we call this, I guess we haven't initialized the memory yet. And I can tell that because this entire graphics struct is 0. So invalid. And the scratch arena too. But I'm not. Maybe this is garbage data. It has to be garbage data. Doesn't make sense otherwise. So we are calling it from here. But apparently this is before we are creating the memory. But we are allocating the memory here. It's not some. So this is completely correct. Oh, I see. See, this is an issue that I have done many times, or I've had this many times. FX, whatever. Honestly, I'm not sure why this is not complaining that I'm giving it the wrong thing. I know this is a void pointer. But it should, I feel like it should still complain. And then we are doing something similar here probably, or at another point. State. Oh, okay. Oh. So what is going on here then? Probably another. This is a null pointer. So this is a null pointer. Ah, okay. I forget to check if it's a null pointer or not. You see, this is why errors is good, because it's leading me towards the path of fixing the error issues. Like if you're playing a game, you don't want it to crash on you. But if you're developing it, then crashes are very good. Maybe I should do like that. There we go. Now it's actually working again. Textures. It was actually more than the textures. It was also the mesh and everything else. Right. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Right. Now the second goal I had for today is seeing if I can fix Emscripten. I don't actually think it's going to be a big issue. I think it's probably just like some function pointers I need to redefine. So what is going on here? Undeclared identifier draw. Really? So is this drawing function different for Emscripten? I don't think so. I think it's the same. So why is it complaining? So the way Emscripten works is that I am having my macro for detecting if it's Windows. If it's Windows, I'm using glue. If it's not Windows, I'm using a GLS3 and Emscripten HTML5. But as you can see, this is only relevant to the initialization and maybe some function pointer or something. And then you go down to draw. Draw is the same for everyone. And I will fix this wherever I see it now, because I have changed my mind on how to do that. This goes into here. And then wherever I'm calling it, and that would be from the window, for example. Make sure that I'm putting in the state there, yeah. Well, this one actually just kind of works because The it was a void pointer to a state. Ah, okay. So I think I know what happened. I changed it so that I had OpenGL graphics and then graphics, and graphics itself is including OpenGL if that's defined. But in Emscripten, which is using this wasm window file, I'm still just using OpenGL. But now I started to define a bunch of things here. So I need to change this to just graphics. Yeah. How do I do this? I need to cast it. I need to cast one function pointer to another. So that would be a void draw cast void star state. Is that it? Yeah. So it complains, but how do I cast a function pointer to a different function pointer? Is that too risky? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up. It's undefined behavior. Thanks. Well, I guess there's no avoiding it. Thanks, Emscripten. Too few arguments. Uh-huh. So I guess let's just do this. I don't know what I changed. That was so bad. I see. string H. So am I really not including string H in the Emscripten version? I guess not. I think I just never included it, but the reason why it was working was because in the Windows path, I included something that it just had it, like maybe glue, maybe even glue is including it. I don't know. And then VA start, implicit function, standard arg. Sprint fs. I hate when that I hate when that happens. Sprint fs. You are part of standard. What? Can I have the English version of the Microsoft page? Not Neglish, English. Yeah. Standard IO. So that's right there. I guess I need it here also. I will think about what inclusions I want to make. Maybe another day. Hmm? This is a main. Oh, I see what the problem is. So sprint fs. This is a Windows thing because Windows doesn't trust you to write this correctly. Do I see this keeps happening? And I already did. I have a like TFL string copy for exactly the same reason. Because it's the same stupid thing. You have string copy s and fopen s on Windows, and then for some reason, compiling for Emscripten, I have to use this one. Now there is a way you can use fopen on Windows, but you have to like kind of force it. It doesn't like you doing that. No, wait. So sprintfs takes buffer size of the string and then the variadic things. What do you even call it? Format. And the normal sprintf takes the buffer and the format. And that doesn't work like that, but I'm just typing it out for now. It's, what is it? VA args. I forget how to type it exactly. Search. This is what you need to do. Funny, it didn't come up on autocomplete for me. So now if we build Windows, it won't complain about the fact that we don't have this TFL sprintf. So we need to do the same thing. If defined, else if Windows is defined. That works fine. But we still have sprintfs in the project. For example, here. Now, of course, I don't have that defined because I didn't define this. Do I make another file maybe? Or maybe I make a tool. and then I can sort of decide later, because I noticed that a lot of the times I do sort of, oh, if you didn't define this, then use this one. But then you run into this exact issue, like, oh, maybe the platform wants you to use this one. Most of the time, you get away with this, especially for, you don't typically get compile errors or warnings for libraries that you import. But I like to use it if it's available. So then my macro would include it. And then if you really don't want to include it, then I still would like to have the function for it. So I think I'm gonna make a tool. So here, right? Do I even need this? At the moment, I don't really need it. I feel like using macros would be better. How? So I would have a couple paths. If def TFL no standard Emscripten. But fopen is part of what library? Is it also standard IO? Yeah, standard IO. Cool. So now we're doing exactly the same that I was doing before in here. I think I can, I want to delete all of this and just include, well, I have to, well, no, actually I don't. EFL std.h. Unterminated. Oops. Yeah, that should work. So we need to add this to the game, unfortunately. I don't think we can get away with not using that. Now we're going to have issues with the fopen. We're going to have issues with buffer create. Oh, we don't have the clock. That is part of what we deleted. True. But at least we can keep it only to Windows and only to this. Undeclared function buffer create in OpenGL. Are we not including graphics? We are. And graphics is including OpenGL. Are we defining OpenGL? We should. Right there. Ah, I see. So this buffer create is specific to OpenGL. Because it has this bind index. So I'm just going to throw this in here for now. But in the future, it needs to be generalized. Graphics init, really? I need to think about what to do with this. Because it definitely shouldn't be here straight up like that. Link error texture create. So the reason for that is the game doesn't include the OS. So I would like make a pointer for that. Wait, what? Am I not calling it? I store my Git repo on a floppy disk. Well, technically, I'm storing it on an SD card. So I have a Git server. Or I can do even. Let's do like this. This is my Raspberry Pi running Linux. And the cool thing about it is that I'm running my web server and everything on it. You know, I even have my password manager on there. But yeah, I realized that you could name a disk on as the A disk because like Windows just allows you to do that. So I was thinking, well, A is like my most important one, and B is my gaming SSD card, and then E, or not SSD card, SSD disk, I think it's called. But yeah, I don't know. I realized that like 5 years ago, and then because I grew up using floppy disks, but I never really thought about it as the A drive. It was just like another, like the G drive or something like that. I'm not old enough to have been using the Windows version where you have to put in the floppy disk to do anything. And back then it was A. Yeah. I am confused about this. So it says it has internal linkage, but is not defined. So do I need to do it like that? Well, now this is not defined. This is in the game. No? Is it in here? Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. So what does this mean? Undefined internal. Oops. I see. I was just being a little bit silly. Create shader program. Undefined symbol draw. Reference by window. What am I doing wrong here? It's not static. It's exactly the same. It's included here. And buffer creator is referenced by this and this and this. So what am I missing here? Oh, wait, I know exactly what I'm missing. I think. I have, it's not quite a Unity build, but I have something a little bit similar. You can see here I'm including alphabet C, things like that. I'm not compiling this separately. Now, right now, I'm just including it straight up. That's fine. So now we're back to compiling on Windows. Now we can compile Emscripten. Hopefully, error, non-static declaration. undeclared window. That should be in wasm window. .h. So you are not including. I guess I was doing more things that I realized in those files. That works. Maybe it should be like that, actually. Oh, I already. Yeah. So let's see if it's running. Run Emscripten. Oh no. Assertion failed. I know why. So what I wanted to do today was build Emscripten and upload it to the server, but I might need to just make my crappy assets manager for that. Now maybe I can just add it for now. But like, this is the worst thing about the Emscripten build. And that is, I have to preload all these files all the time. Do I even have an assets folder? I forgot how to read for a moment. Right. So we need to add the text.json here in assets text. I don't know if there's another one. When I print F, content that was not flushed. Huh? Do I even print F? I do sprintf. Is that the same? Emscripten fac. What did you say? Standard IO streams. Emscripten sets exit runtime equals 0. But I am not what? I am not expecting my program to exit. Okay, so maybe what's happening is that I'm having some kind of error and then it's just not printing it because it's not exiting properly. But it would be nice to know what error. Could not open this file. Maybe that's the error. Fonts. Why could you not? Whoops. So what I think is happening is that it can't open the a lot of regular because I didn't include that as another files assets that I have to type all of them individually. And then it had some other error later. Noto Arabic, what is it called? Noto Sans Arabic regular. I keep doing that. Really? That one too? Oh, now we're having some juicy errors. Unknown file type. Woohoo! Okay. Are we printing anything? There's no text, and I'm having this issue with the position like I was having before. But, it's something. Yeah, this one I'm just ignoring for now. So it's interesting. Like, I think what's happening here is there's something wrong with my buffers because WebGL is notoriously very picky about how you set them up. And I have no idea why the text is not printing, but it could be. Could it be that it's just way too high? Like I wouldn't expect the text to not work. Although if this one is black, then probably the text is uploaded wrong also as well. I could take a quick look here. So it should be on this draw call. These are all my characters I'm trying to draw. And yeah, these should not all be zeros. So the reason they're zeros is because I'm having some unaligned memory, or like the size of the memory. The buffer is not the same. It's not identically the same as the one that I defined. So then it makes sense why it's not printing any characters, but it's something that I'm going to fix eventually. But yeah, I think that's it. I was hoping that I could get the Emscripten to work, and it does work, although you can see there's some issues with the buffers and stuff. And if I would get it to work, then I was gonna put it on my website, but I guess we can't do that right now. It's a little bit too late. It's already 3:30. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. So good night. Yeah.